Hi, hello, and good evening. It is October, the 17th, and we have a lot
Mm.
to do tonight. We are recapping two episodes of The Amazing Race, which really worked out in our favor since this was a mega leg.
Mhm.
Okay, so we
Mhm.
didn't even have an elimination episode 3. So it all
Yeah, it really
ties
was
together
just one
anyway.
long episode anyway.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
kind of worked out in our favor. We'll be recapping all the events in that. I can't wait to discuss Rich and Dom. And then after we are hopping into the mole, we're super excited. Yeah, this is very new to us, very new to us. So we're super excited to talk about it. So we're just gonna let her rip. I am Kyle Petty, and tonight I'm chatting with my best friends, Gina Morgino and John Dunphy. This is Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod or on our website at stratchatpod.com. I was really trying to rush through that because I felt it coming. Sorry.
I couldn't tell if that was a cough or if that was I almost said our other name, and
No,
now
I
I have to pause to make sure I say our correct name.
No, I just had a little bit of dry throat.
My initial thought was, "Wow, what a time to freeze." I thought you were just frozen.
No, I just had a little tickle. All right, so The Amazing Race. All right, episode 3, the beginning of our mega leg.
Mhm.
Our first detour, right? I took
Right.
fun notes again. You like when I take good notes. We played head of the class. That was one of our first selections there. Over there, you had to listen to the 8-minute long lecture. Then you had to identify 16 bones, muscles, and organs in less than 90 seconds. Failure to do so means you have to go listen to the lecture again. um, what's unfortunate is that I would have chosen this and not been good at it.
See, I actually think I would have been good at this. I feel like I knew a good chunk of the answers, regardless of whether I listened to the lecture or not.
Wow.
Did
I'm
you
impressed.
Did you play a lot of Operation growing up as a kid or something?
I did not, but I do attend things like Oddities flea markets, so I know a lot about bones.
Wow, that is fun fact about Gina Morgino.
Yeah, Gina never had any idea that that would be something. Yeah, if I need to know something about bones, Gina's the one.
I got you.
I guess I'll text Gina. Yikes. I don't know if that's good or bad. The other selection was the big cheese. You had to wheel your cheese. Now, what was this, like an 88-pound of cheese or something?
Yes,
88
correct.
pounds.
Something like that, yeah.
Wheel of cheese. You had to wheel it down the street to a professional cheese cutter. Okay, for halving. All right, this was to be halved. And then you would deliver both halves to various restaurants. What you laughing at? Now this was the one to do, honestly.
Yeah.
You got to have fun running around the city saying "Excusey." This was a hoot. This was a hoot.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Just listening to all of them yell "Excusey" as they were wheeling the cheese around, but then also I think it was Luis and Michelle. At one point, I think it was Michelle was they're running through the streets. She goes, "We're delivering cheese in Italy," as they come running by with their cart of cheese, and
I love it. The personalities in some of these people are really, really fun and really endearing and heartwarming.
I truly enjoy everybody on this show.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm still having trouble remembering Abby and Will. They really just blend into the background for me.
That's really not going to do it for me. I respect your opinion. They're so cute. They're so cute. That's very rude. I don't really know how you can still say you are a fan of Linton and Sharik. It is not Linton's fault.
Oh,
the
yeah, that
Oh,
really
we will
sucked.
get there. I have a lot of comments. We
Well,
will
I know.
get
It's just
there.
that you said you like everyone on this a lot, and I said,
Well,
I
at
gotta
this
say.
point, I did.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. The top of episode 3. Right. Okay. Feelings are timestamped with where we are. That's fair. All right. So let's see here. What happened during this? There's a lot to be said and a lot not to say. So Marcus and Michael did the cheese. That's fine. Glenda and Lumumba.
It really did. Like, watching them all, the cheese thing looked so much easier than it actually was. Like, the way that they explained it, I was like, that's gonna take freaking forever. And then they did the cheese thing.
Thank you, Matt. Welcome back.
Gosh.
Welcome back.
We all look fresher than Mama's baked banana bread.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm really liking Glenda and Lumumba more and more as this thing goes on. I think they're just so much fun. Lumumba is hysterical.
They kill me every episode.
Yes. They got very lost. Did not realize they were supposed to be driving the car, and they were just running around town. I don't understand how they didn't know that. I don't understand where they think they were going without a car. But yeah.
It's like even when they're like being idiots, it's like, but they're so cute though. Like, I can't even be like, you're so dumb. Like, I'm just having fun watching them.
Yeah. Let's see what else we have here. What else was going on here? I have a note here. I think it was about Rich and Dom. Yeah. Okay. It was out there driving, and Rich has failed to be able to drive, and then Dom not being able to read a map. Now, I don't understand why these people were placed where they were placed. Put the right people in the right positions, right? Like, so he literally said to her, "Do you know how to navigate using a map?" And she said, "I don't." So then why are you in the back?
Why are you the map person?
While he's having all this trouble driving and she's getting all frustrated with him, she's like, "Just take it easy. He's like, "I am trying to breathe."
And that, like,
don't let a machine take you over. And I'm like, this is just too much.
Listen, like, she's so cute and she's so sweet. But if I was having a problem doing something and the person was just like, "No, it's fine. Just like think positively and manifest," I'd be like, "Shut up!" Like, it just drives me nuts. Like, she would drive me insane. And like, I know, like, I'm not gonna lie, I know people like this. And like, that is exactly the person that oh yeah. And that is exactly the person that I don't want if I'm getting frustrated with something. It's like, I know you think you're calming me down, and I know you think you're putting me in a good mood, but what I need you to do right now is to just shut up. Like, I need you to stop speaking to me and just let me figure it out.
Well, I am so happy to say I don't know anyone like that.
I know
that would not vibe well with me at all. Like, no way. That's way too much. That is too much. All right, so that's what I had on that. Anything else on this detour? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
There was just a point. I don't remember exactly what had happened, but it has to do with them being in the car, Rich and Dom. And at one point, Rich just being like, we're just gonna go this way, and like Dom was like, "Well, how do you know that we're supposed to go that way?" And he's like, "I'm sensing it." He's like, "Just trust me." I was like, honestly, it's better off anyway because she's not helping with the map.
So. Yeah, and
then she got mad about it.
Yeah, she did get mad about it, but in that moment, she wasn't even looking at the map. She had already given up on it. So it's like, it doesn't. How dare you even question anything that he's doing at this stage? If you are a non-part, you are literally. Yeah,
she was sitting in the back, and she was like, "Oh, that's what you're gonna do. All right, I guess we're gonna do that." Yeah. You're not helping.
Yeah,
of course that's what he's gonna do. What are you offering?
Yeah. How dare you, Dom? Yeah, I was not impressed. Now this roadblock here is where I got a lot of my discourse. People did not like some of the things I had to say regarding Claire doing this roadblock. Okay, because this was who's ready for a break, and that's the way y'all treated me on Twitter. I sure was. What you had to do on this one, I know, so stupid. I know, I'm canceled. Put together the wheels and brakes of this motorcycle. I had a Ducati motorcycle. Apparently, that's a big deal. I feel like I've heard that.
Yeah, everyone was really excited about it, and I was like, all right.
Ducati. You had to get your wheels and brakes approved. All right. Having wheels that spun was a very big deal, and then you had to put together the body panels, which they say was puzzle-like. And then you were complete if it checked out. So, people arrived in very different orders than they finished. You know, this is very interesting. This is very interesting. So Michael and Marcus got there first, but they did get out of there first, so good for them. If I wrote this down correctly, all right, I have what I thought was a very efficient way of writing this out, but it could get clunky. Are you looking at
believe
real
in you.
stats, John? Are you looking at real stats? Are you a fact checker? Are you Snopes?
I mean, I could help try to find stuff. I don't have everything in front of me here.
No, okay. I thought
I was just looking at the teams.
I thought that was going to be a new gag.
No, you were correct though. You were correct.
Well, I'm correct about that. So what I've done here is I wrote down, I think, the order in which they came, then I put numbers in which they were supposed to have left. I think that's what I've done.
Okay.
And no, looking over this, yes, I am correct. Because, Emily and Molly got there mad late. They got there mad late. And they smoked everybody. And they got out of there second. Which was
really impressive.
Really impressive.
Yeah.
Really impressive.
I really like them.
I like them more and more as this goes on.
I love them.
Yeah. My God. I just love their whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we rehash what the story is? Because then Tommy had asked me, he's like, oh, wait, are they twins? They don't know each other? It's like, no, they don't know each other. Is this race when they first met each other? Or have they met already and like they just never spent any time?
I believe they had met shortly before going on Amazing Race.
I think it's like for some reason, like a year to 2 years sounds like familiar to me. Like maybe they met each other like at most like a couple of years ago. But that's
certainly
like
have never spent this much time together.
Right. Like they went what 36 years, right? I think they said before they actually met each other. And so even if they have known each other for a year and a half, let's say, like
they still don't really. Yeah. That's a great story. I really love them. They're very cute. Yeah. They're very cute. Claire and Derek, they got their second. Claire was selected to do this roadblock here. And this is really where I started to have a problem with Derek. I really did not like the way that he was behaving in this one. I really thought it was gross. Like, enough now. Oh, this is killing me. Oh, this is so hard to watch. And it's like, you think it's any harder than what you're putting her through now? Now she has the added
she's
pressure.
doing it.
Yeah, she's already feeling crappy for herself. And now she's also in the house to worry about the fact that she's making you feel crappy, and she's like, and you're just carrying on.
I mean, I would like to believe she couldn't hear him saying that, and that was just like the editing. I would love to believe that she didn't hear him being like, "Oh God, this is really hard to watch. I'm having such a hard time." But I don't know.
He did.
I don't know either. His physical gestures were also, rather large. And
there was also, there was a moment that they were walking away together once the task had been completed. And I know she heard this because they were walking away and she was like, oh my God, that was so hard. For the first time in her life, putting together a motorcycle. She's like, oh my God, that was so hard. And Derek X was like, yeah, for both of us. And I'm like, you've just been standing there complaining this whole time.
Yeah.
So give me a break. I love you, DX, but like, come on, man. You're barely doing anything.
Give it up. Yeah.
And then you're complaining about everything.
Yeah, all this mouth and you haven't even done anything. I don't like that. Then you should have stepped up and done it. If you're not there, be supportive. Now we had Dom, though. We had Dom. Now, she said a little something to him. She said, you got to make sure you're being supportive, not just outwardly, but also in your heart. And it's like, all right, now shut up. Shut up now. Now you're doing too much. Just be outward. I could be cursing you out inside, but I'm not going to show you that. Like, let's stop being so ridiculous. Be supportive in your heart. Like, she's so annoying, especially with how things went, with her roadblock.
And this is where I got really frustrated because I was like, now, Dom. You would not stop. Don't give up. You can do anything. Believe in yourself. And the moment that she's even the slightest bit like, oh, this looks hard. She's like, can't do it. Gotta quit. Take a penalty. Can't do it. Impossible. Can't do it. Right. It's like I just had to watch you for like an hour. Be like, no, it's fine. Just think positively and you can do anything. And now you look at a sculpture and you're like, nope.
Right. And like the switch too, because like if this is someone that's trying to like remind people to be positive, like the switch that flipped for her, like, okay, you might get down there and see this sculpture and they're like, oh, you have to chisel this. And it's like, how am I supposed to do this? I've never sculpted before. But then when you look around at all these other pairs,
you think everybody else is sculpting a perfect sculpture and you're the only one that can't do it.
Right. Like even if your initial thought is like a little bit of panic because you haven't done this before, it's like, all right, there's no way that all of these people, maybe one of them is a professional sculptor. Like,
Right.
do you really think that all of these people are chiseling these perfect sculptures out on their first go, like their first shot? Like, come on. There's clearly more to this little
like they've been there for like maybe 15 minutes and they have perfect sculptures.
Right. Oh my god. That's ridiculous.
But the end of episode 3, that was my fault. We really went off on a tangent there. That was like, and that was totally my fault. So sorry. But well, that's it for the motorcycle thing, right? I mean, was there any other real highlights for the motorcycle? I think everybody else just kind of just finished it in their own time and off they went.
Yeah, I think that the only thing was like Claire. The only reason why it took Claire so long is because she didn't realize that she was using the tool incorrectly. But like,
right.
I would have made that mistake too. I wouldn't have known how to do that.
I did actually know how to use that. It's one of the only tools I do know.
Wow. Kyle out here building motorcycles.
Well, no, it had nothing to do with from building. That was just like a little ratchet, though, wasn't it?
I know.
Oh,
I'm hyping you up, Kyle. I mean,
I don't deserve it.
Let me say nice things.
Yeah, no, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. So that was that. So it doesn't really matter anybody placed there, right? Because it's really just halfway through a leg,
right?
So whatever.
Yeah.
So episode 4, it opens with a roadblock. It did. Oh, we were really right on time. For some reason, I thought the roadblock was at the end of the episode, and it was not. So, yeah, that worked out fine. Our timing was correct. Great job, everybody.
Good job, us. Good job,
Great
us.
job. We did a great job. Now, around here, where I was watching too much, so I have absolutely no idea in what order they left.
Oh, your guess is as good as mine.
I'm like, this episode is really good.
No,
absolutely not.
Matt says.
Kyle secretly a gearhead. No, actually, I had a car that had a very bad electrical issue, and the lights would flicker, and it was interior lights, and the car would like flicker on and off, like it was like a real mess. So when this would happen, you had to like pop the hood and disconnect the battery, and then reconnect it, so it would reset everything electrically. Then it would be good for a couple more drives. It's actually a tale of woe. Actually,
whoa.
Oh.
Yes. Right. So the roadblock was who wants a chiseled body, and our racers were presented with a large block, where they had to now sculpt one of these. A sculpture. From who now? Was this? It was something famous. Somebody named David. Somebody
named David.
Something like that. I don't know. It doesn't. It was some man with his. With
God.
With the chin on his fist. So yeah, they just had to chisel out of there. But as we already said, Dom really struggled with this because she thought, she actually had to finally chisel this. And she just kept saying, "This is not what I do. This is not what I do." And like, this is
but
just
again, like, why do you think that's what anybody else does?
yes.
You're and she even says in her little like thing, she's like, "I'm looking around and I see everybody making these beautiful sculptures, and I'm like, I can't do this. Where in your if I walked into a room and everybody random people that I've been running this race with are making these gorgeous sculptures, I'm like, all right, something's got to be up here. Like, there's no way that they're actually sitting there like think, and like sculpting this gorgeous art piece."
What would they be like again?
I'm not gonna do it again.
I know you wouldn't.
Just one more time, because I missed it.
Your audio cut out?
You can watch it again.
Cut out.
Watch it later.
Wow.
Now, Sharik actually stepped up to do this roadblock, and she had a rough go as well.
Mm-hmm.
She did.
She had a rough go as well. She chiseled the face right off.
Right. That big chunk of the forehead or something, right?
Yeah.
That looked so. When she was trying to put that back on, it looked
She's
so
like, please,
weird.
please clear me, please.
Now, that was the part of this challenge, and I was like, what do you expect these people to do? Like, the little parts of it that they nicked the sculpture, like, they don't know how to use this plaster and all this stuff. I mean, what a mess. You give them these little, like, plastic Dixie cups and put some water in there and their finger to stir it. Like, what was that?
There are certain moments on the show where it's like, well, what do you expect? Like, give them a break.
Exactly. Like, now you're going a little too far. Like, stop it now. Cut it out. Knock it off. So after that, our racers were faced with a detour. The first selection was Eye for Fashion. You had to look at these outfits for these people in these fashion shows all across the city, and you had to remember what they wore with accessories and remember the location in which you found them, and then replicate it in a sketchbook for approval by a fashion lady.
A fashion
Fashion
lady.
lady.
I don't know what else. I don't know what she was. The other selection was Window of Opportunity. You had to get soups, meats, and little biscottis from little windows across town and deliver them to patrons at a restaurant, which I then found out on my second watching was next to the fashion lady where the
I
sketches
noticed.
were being
Yeah.
approved.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice that until the second watch. I thought that was an interesting, fun tidbit. If you didn't
I
catch
didn't
it.
notice until right at the very end. I noticed. Like,
With the Linton and
right at
Sharik
the-
thing.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, fun. Really fun. Okay. So which one would you have done?
I think the fashion one.
I think I
Really?
would have done the window of opportunity one.
Yeah, this one I think I would have done Window of Opportunity.
I don't know.
Um,
That felt harder to me.
These memory ones, I just know I would never do well with that. And
See,
I would get
I think that I would be good at that.
yeah, if it doesn't happen the first time and then you just tell me it's wrong and I don't know what is wrong, I feel like that would drive me just totally up a wall.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
where do you begin? I would just start all over. Like I don't know. I feel like that would do my head in.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I get that.
Yeah. Um
I just
Oh, well.
also know like I am not good with directions, but I am good with memory games. So I think that like for my skill
Mm,
set, I'm like I have to do the fashion one.
right.
Like I would get lost so easily trying to do the window one.
I think I'd just
Yeah.
be nervous though, because you still have to navigate in the fashion one. They were still using maps and running to different areas of the city, and then you're navigating and you have to memorize things. That for me, I know I probably wouldn't have done well with that one.
Mm.
I would rather do all right, I just have to find these 3 windows and grab some plates of food and then bring them to a table. Sure.
Yeah, I'm
That's
not gonna
fair.
say I'm not exactly saying that I would do much better with Window of Opportunity. I just think I would maybe not come in last. But also depends on when I started, because me hustling around town, especially at the end of a mega leg, these
Yeah.
people are exhausted.
The
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
Mega,
Yeah, they
mega
are. They
leg.
are. Yeah. But all right, so that was that. There was really nothing majorly noteworthy about these for me, except Sharik and Linton.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Coming out of that roadblock, her spirit was really crushed, and she had immediately started saying how she wanted to quit.
But even
Um,
in the roadblock, she was like, I've had enough. I don't want to do this anymore. And her dad is like trying to cheer her on. She's looking at him like, Dad, shut up. Like, I want to go home. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. Like, while
Yeah,
she was trying
yeah.
to chisel the thing.
But even then, I thought I was like, this is just because she's frustrated. I didn't put a lot of like stock in it. It wasn't until they left that it looked like she was like really getting to walk away. But no, you're right. She was saying it all along. I was just trying to get.
I feel like
them to get
the
out early.
whole second half of this second episode, I feel like all she said, I want to go home. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home.
And then I gotta say that it really bothered me that they stayed.
Oh, I was livid, especially because like he's giving them the option, like you could go right now if you want to, and she's like, whatever, I'll stay, like it's fine, whatever.
Right.
Like clearly still doesn't want to be there. And then you see the last place couple come in and they're weeping because they wanted to be in this race so bad. And I was like, this is garbage.
Right.
Like that was when I texted you, like, I'm so annoyed. Like I was in a really bad mood when I saw that happen.
Yeah, I thought I had the same thought. Like all this whole episode, we've been listening to this girl complain how she doesn't want to be there. Her dad trying to like keep her spirit up and like keep her in it because you can see how much it means to him, and it's like and then to get there and you make it, now you get to continue, and the team behind you like
who desperately wanted to be there,
totally devastated. Yeah, like to have that poor attitude like rewarded when there's a team there that wants that both of them really want to be there. That just sucks to see them go out that way.
Yeah, it was a very unsatisfying end to
Yeah, I was so frustrated.
what was an otherwise pretty fun episode. It was pretty
Mhm.
entertaining, you know. Yeah, yeah. Um, the final standings here, though, are very interesting for where everybody ended up here.
Yeah.
Emily and Molly took the lead. Emily and Molly. How do we feel about that?
I love them so much.
Yeah.
John,
I
who were your
love
winner
it.
picks? It was the
Mine are
brothers,
Marcus
right?
and Michael.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the brothers. Yeah, yeah.
Kyle,
All
did you
right.
end up with Emily and Molly, or did you choose? I know
No.
you were torn.
I went with Abby and Will.
You
I went
did.
Abby
I
and
couldn't
Will.
remember
I
which
did.
one you ended up
Yeah.
with.
I went with Abby and Will. Which so not bad, you know. John's winner pick finished second, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Michael and Marcus.
Yeah.
And then I'm rounding out the top three with my winner pick with Will and Abby.
Hmm.
And we've got Gina down in the bottom there. With her
Listen,
winner picks.
Mom and Dad had a rough go this episode. All right, Mom and Dad
They're
didn't do
really-
that great, but
really
everybody gets one.
trending,
All right.
Trending in the wrong direction here. Yeah.
Listen, man, not all of them could be winners. All right, Mom and Dad had a rough go, and they're gonna bounce back. I believe in them.
Derek and Claire finished in seventh. They
went
seventh.
from first to seventh in 2 weeks. Oof.
They've been better, but they could be better
I'm
again.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It happens. It happens.
You know, it's real. You know, for like Linton and Sharik too, like that whole thing. Because I'm just looking at like week to week now. It's like Linton and Sharik finished in fourth in the first leg, finished in third in the second leg, all the way down to ninth in this one. Like, oof,
Was that chiseling?
it's a big drop.
Mm-hmm. And her poor attitude. They probably could have made up time during that window of opportunity.
If she
Right.
was
'Cause she
actually
was
trying.
Right.
Yeah, but she had already like checked out and given up.
Right. It seemed like
Yeah.
she
There
was
was even, like, there- I
walking
remember-
slowly. She, like,
There was a
dragging her
moment where
feet.
like there was a moment where he was trying to figure out where they were and where they had to go, and he was like, "Do we ask somebody?" And she's like, "You can go ask somebody. I'm done. Like, you figure it out. You ask somebody. You do whatever you want to
Yeah.
do." And it's like, you're not even trying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he said to her, like, or maybe to the camera, he said like to us at one point, he was like, "Yeah, she's checked out. She's checked out."
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just seemed like she was just kind of, you know, dragging everything out.
Yeah.
It's sad. Sad. And then for her attitude, now Rich and Dom get to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I was like too jazzed about seeing another episode of Dom carry on, but like
I mean, listen, as
at least they
frustrating as
wanted to
she
be
gets,
there.
as frustrating as she gets, I do love her. Like, I really do. Like, she really irritates the hell out of me, but she's still like, I enjoy her. I love to hate her, you know?
Yes. Well, because
You know,
you're
I'm
hating
actually-
her for a good reason, at least.
Right.
You're not hating her because she's bad. You're hating her because she's just so annoyingly positive.
Right.
Like, that's a fun thing to be annoyed by.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess like looking at this now too, like in a way, I'm not surprised that they were going to be out soon if they weren't out this week, Rich and Dom.
Oh yeah.
They-
Listen,
they-
yeah.
They never finished above 9th place.
Oh yeah. No, if they made it one more week, like if Linton and Sharik did quit, I mean, they were still next out. Like,
yeah, they're
that
not
doesn't
long
change
for the
anything.
game, but
No,
I
no,
still
but
enjoy
just don't-
them.
Yeah, and I just don't think
I
they
would
should
rather
go
I
out
would
before
rather
this poor attitude.
I would rather watch her be annoyingly positive for another week than watch another week of I don't even want to be here. I should have just gone home.
Yes. Totally agree. Totally agree.
Was this the only mega leg? Do you think?
I don't know.
I don't know the show well enough to comment.
Yeah, here's the thing. I've never seen this mega leg thing. Now, granted, I'm not, the most seasoned racer, all right, as we all know, to the attacks I've received. But, they used to have, like, in previous seasons, they would just have legs where people were not eliminated. And now that they said,
right.
"Oh, this season will have no legs, or there are no eliminations," there are no non-elimination legs. That's the way to say that. Since they said there's none of those, I think this mega leg thing is just a way of having an episode that doesn't have that.
Okay.
So we just keep the episode count correct.
All right. Fair enough.
That's my theory.
I liked it. It was enjoyable because you really didn't know. Like in that first detour, like you could be doing horribly.
It doesn't matter
But
at all.
yeah, but
Mm-mm.
knowing that you still have, even Emily and Molly, right? They were not like in the top 3 to arrive at the Ducati place. But by the time that was over, they were running away with it. Like it was just, and even the fact that like Marcus and Michael started out in front, and then Emily and Molly just shot to the top, but they were still close to each other for like a good chunk of it. So it was like, what an exciting race we have going on just for first place. Then we have this whole like Rich and Dom struggle, and Linton and Sharik. Like, you're watching like who's going to get first, but who's going to finish last. And it was up in the air. Like there was never one team that was like so far out in front or so far back behind. I mean, I'm not. It could have been a lot to do with the edit, but I feel like because of Sharik and the way that she was kind of like dragging things out, it felt like it didn't feel like Rich and Dom were totally out of it at the end. And I wonder if they didn't have to go back into those 3 locations and look at the like the visuals again, like the models and stuff. Like they might have gotten there before Linton and Sharik. I don't know.
It's very possible. Sorry, I was also trying to pull up things for the mole because now I'm getting nervous. I don't know things. Now I'm starting to panic.
I don't know things.
Yeah, I'm panicking. I feel a little ill prepared.
No.
Yeah.
Listen,
I was just rewatching it before we came on. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I rewatched the last episode because I watched all 8 episodes yesterday.
Oh, the last time that we podcasted, Kyle was like, "Oh, we got to talk about the mole." I'm so excited. And I was like, "All right, I can like watch an episode before bed." And I was up until 3 a.m. that night, binge watching the mole. And then as I was watching it, the new episodes dropped, and I was like, "Damn it!"
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's been a fun ride. But I mean, does anybody else have any more for the Amazing Race?
I
wish we could have a twist and bring back Rich and Dom.
Does that ever happen on the Amazing Race, or is that not?
No. It just sucks the way they went out. That's all.
Yeah.
But okay. Well, that's it for the Amazing Race then. If you're gonna drop off, before you do, find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod or on our website, stratchatpod.com. And this was Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. Now we're switching to The Mole. All right, we're going to talk about The Mole. Yeah, The Mole on Netflix. Apparently, this show was on ABC for about 5 seasons, I believe.
Back in the day, 2001.
So funny because I do not remember it at all. But anybody that I've talked to about this is like, "Oh my god, I used to love The Mole." And I'm like, am I the only person that didn't know this was a show?
Every time I've mentioned it, it has gotten the same response. Absolutely, and I had heard of it, but I didn't know what it was.
Friends of mine that used to love watching it with their parents. Like, there's so many people that are like, "Oh my god, I loved watching The Mole." I had never heard of it before this.
It's fantastic. It's really
that first season of The Mole, 2001. It was awesome.
Wow. Well, I'm excited to go back. I am very intrigued.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, this has been really fun. So for those of you who don't know, Netflix took the bull by the horns, as they say, and rebooted The Mole. And we decided to give it a gander. There are there's 10 episodes. 8 have been released. The final 2 are coming out on Friday. That would be October 21st. Yes. Excellent. Still crushing it at 10:08. So we're going to talk about the first 8. We're just kind of go through every little person. Let's kind of chat about little things here. Hey, Liz, here for The Mole.
Liz has been very excited to talk about The Mole with us.
I'm really excited about going to The Mole. So let's do it. We're switching to Mole. Mole Monday indeed. If you're new to us, this is Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. I am Kyle Petty, and tonight I'm chatting with John Dunphy and Gina Morgino. And we're chatting about Netflix's The Mole. You can find us on the socials at StratChatPod or on our website at stratchatpod.com. Okay, so we thought it would be a hoop to kind of go through each person in the order in which they were eliminated and then talk about who we think is the mole.
What I think is so fun about this show too, I just want to say before we get into anybody, like there have been so many iterations of who I believe the mole is, and I can't it's been so hard for me to land on somebody because then I, as a person who watches a lot of these shows and a person who also knows the production side of things, I'm like, okay, but like, is this person suspicious, or do the editors want me to think that they're suspicious so that it throws me off course?
Right.
Are they just banking on me thinking that so they actually are suspicious, but they want me to think that they're not suspicious? Like, I've been so like jumbled in my head trying to be like, but
I get torn as I watch this so many times thinking like this person could be the mole or they're just a complete idiot.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of the mistakes that are like, it's just it's funny. Yeah.
You know, if you're just hanging out with us and you don't know what the mole is, let's tell you about it real quick, actually. You know, it's 12 people playing this game together. The objective is to add as much money to the team pot as possible by playing in various tasks and competitions and such. In order to win each, everyone is always paired off or separated into little groups and such, and they have to accomplish little tasks by themselves, but cooperate together to keep adding that money to the team pot. Now, what they do not know is that there is one person among them that is the mole, and they are secretly working to sabotage each one and decrease the team pot as often as possible, either by way of sabotaging competitions or decreasing it by doing risky things and such, as we'll get into as we go.
It's just one big game of Among Us, and I love
it so much. Exactly. This is basically Among Us. People are eliminated from the game by way of quiz. The game presents them with a 20-question quiz, and whoever gets the quiz is on who they believe the mole is. That's
another thing that I think is so fun about this show is like, it's not like the other shows that we watch where people get voted off. Like, it's not like they're voting on who they think the mole is to kick them out or anything like that.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily matter what you're doing in the game. It doesn't affect whether you're able to stay in it or not. It just affects like whether other people have good reads on it or not. And I think that's so interesting that you're getting eliminated based on who has the worst reads of the situation and not who is the most suspicious person.
Well, we still didn't really tell them how they leave. So,
sorry, I jumped the gun.
But yes, I do agree with all of that. But yes, whoever had the least amount of answers correct is then the person eliminated. So then, yes, to all of that. That is very interesting. And then we get into some of those like strategy parts of this game. It's very interesting to me. You can just be like, when somebody says, well, why did you do that? Why would you risk our money? Like, because I don't care. Like, because I'm playing for me. It doesn't matter if you like me. Like I stay in because I'm still playing better than you. So it's like, oh, I don't want these people not to trust me. Who cares?
There's also the strategy of, which I never would have thought about, but like the strategy of doing suspicious things so that people suspect you of being the mole, so they get the quiz questions wrong, so they get eliminated.
Yes,
I never would have thought about that.
No,
because you end up having to.
We're nice people,
right?
Chatters.
You end up having to then like spread your answers across the board, and we've heard like Will talk about this, and like you end up having to now put your answers onto different people that you might suspect, and you hope that you get enough questions correct. And if one person gets one more question correct than you did, that could be the end of your game there. It's just it's so crazy. And like, we haven't even started getting into everybody yet, but I know that I just mentioned Will has been very suspicious of somebody like Avery doing that, like doing mole-like things, but only to cause suspicion and not actually because he necessarily thinks that she is the mole. So that's definitely very interesting. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's just start. We'll get there.
So the first person that was eliminated, and I don't even now remember how to say his name. Is this Osei? Okay, he's from Brooklyn, New York. He's got a pet rabbit named Sim.
He's from Brooklyn.
That's what his dossier says. And he loves to try exotic foods. Okay. I don't have much to say about him. He went out fast, but his whole elimination was really centered around this finding the plane crap or like finding
Mhm.
things out there. And we have to talk about it because we have to talk about Joy. Okay, Joy, who is coming to us. She is a pilot.
Yeah.
Pilot. She's 40 years old. She's hailing from Atlanta, Georgia. She loves working out and can squat 225 pounds. She can also whip up a healthy gourmet meal in under 30 minutes. So take that, Rachel Ray. Now, a airline pilot, however, she failed to read the map correctly to the destination. And that was very mole-like behavior to me.
Yo, they were so far off of, like, if you saw like their dot, like this is where they were, that's where they had to go, and she led them there.
Like, come on. And I have not kept my eye off her since.
No, and there is, when we get to Joy, there's going to be so much to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. So that's it. I don't really have anything on Osei.
Like the only other thing that I can say, and this goes back to what John was saying about like either they're the mole or they're idiots. I don't know what would possess you to be trudging through the jungle with this backpack, and at no point do you think, maybe I should see what's in here. I was told something in here might help us. Maybe we should look at it.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. And like, did you think it was weird though that then they got back to the plane at the end and they were like, "So, like, we'll open it now. Let's see what was in there."
Yeah, what's in there?
And he was like, "No, I'm not going to do that."
No, this is our bag.
What do you mean? The mission's over. You lost. Just show me what was in your bag.
Just show it was in your bag.
But like, truly, what are you trying to hide? You don't even know what's in there.
And you don't need it now.
It was just so shady.
No. Yeah, it was very, very strange.
For someone who's not the mole, I was like, why are you acting like that?
Very weird. Very weird. Well, that challenge did put $12,500 in the pot. Okay, in the pot. All right.
Wait, did you like how it became 12,500 though? Because it started out as 7,500 because they brought back a case of 5,000, a case of 2,500.
Yeah.
And then Will, in the middle of the night, had to complete a task to double the value of one of the cases and successfully did it, but put himself at risk if he had gotten caught.
She sure did. Yeah.
What did you think of this little twist?
I thought it was fun.
Right?
I thought it was really fun.
Because it's not the only one of these that we've seen so far this season, but I love that it's like someone does a sneaky thing and then they're like, roll the clip, and they like show everybody the footage. So now it's like, this person is suspicious and you set him up to look suspicious. Even though like, is he the mole? Who's to say? But like, now it just looks sus that like, yeah, you were doing something to get us more money, but also now I know you're a really good liar and that you're a really sneaky person. So like, do I trust other stuff that you're going to do? Because no one suspected him when they were all looking for the case that he was maybe in on where it went.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
What I like about this too, though, is that that's now adding a twist to the game that does not actually hurt the contestant.
Right.
If anything, it helped him. It doesn't matter if people think you're suspicious and you're not actually the person. It's not like they're going to now vote you out. Like when they did this, I said, ooh, this is like one of those big brothery twists where like you kind of like you're screwing that person over a little bit by giving them this advantage. That wasn't this. And
because if Will is not the mole and people then suspect him for that and vote him as the mole, it's screwing
he stays
them.
in longer. Right, exactly. It's that he makes him stay in longer. So it didn't actually hurt him at all. This is a good thing for him. Yeah, it's just an interesting way of looking at things like that. It's really fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So the next person that we lost was Samara. She's also from Atlanta. She's 25 years old, a mental health counselor. She has snorkeled in the Great Barrier Reef. And she recently graduated with a master's degree in clinical psychology.
Interesting.
Yeah, great. Good for you, Samara. Now, I don't remember anything about her exit.
I vaguely remember. I just rewatched it and I still vaguely remember her. I feel like we barely saw anything of her. Was this the jailbreak?
It looks like it locked in a cell with their group cell block.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what this was.
Mm-hmm.
Now hold on now. Cell
This
block.
was
It was
interesting.
Avery, Samara, and William. I don't think theirs was the interesting one. I think there were some interesting things going on in some of the other ones. Like
Yeah, I
just
don't
went
really
the,
remember their portion of the jailbreak. I feel like nothing
I just
of
remember the
note really
jailbreak.
happened there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I just remember that
I
kind of
just-
working.
I just mean the jailbreak in general. I thought was interesting. It was a
Oh
fun
yeah,
one.
the talent itself, yeah. But no, wasn't
Well, yeah,
it?
but in the other two cell blocks, there was like, oh, how did you not see that the key was there? Why didn't you tell me that was a key? Why, like, there's like so
right,
much
wasn't
like
it Cassie that didn't
potential
see the
mole.
key at all?
Yeah, there was like potential mole like behavior happening all over the place, but in their particular cell block, I don't really remember anything of note.
Yeah, I don't remember that one being a standout to me. What did you think about cell block D? I know you don't know who that is. That was Greg, Joy, and Cassie. Now it was Joy that was in there, right? That was hopping up and down. I can't reach it. I can't reach it. Oh my goodness gracious! And then you had Cassie, who was like basically saying to what's his face that she couldn't see a key or something like that. Was that the one? That was her.
Yeah, so
right?
Cassie had the key in front of her door, and she asked Joy, "Do you see anything around my door?" And Joy said no. So Joy didn't see the key either. And that was what like made Joy seem suspicious of like, well, you couldn't see that there was a key right in front of me, which we also saw elsewhere. That was the other cell block had.
Yes. That was cell
similar
block
trajectory.
F. Okay, that was Jacob, Pranav, and Sandy.
Sandy.
It was Sandy who was the person that was being a little shady about that, wasn't it?
Oh wait.
That
I thought it was
sound
whoever
right.
whoever was across from Will. Maybe it was Samara. It was whoever was across
Sandy.
from Will couldn't see the key.
I think
Because-
that was
because they-
Samara.
Yeah, because Samara told him that it was a hair tie, so he didn't pay attention to it and kept doing other stuff, and then came back to it, was like, all right, as a last-ditch effort, I'm just going to try to... I thought it was Sandy. That's so funny. Like, he was like, all right, I guess I'll just try to pick this thing up, and then picked it up after, like, so long of just trying to do other things because she told him it was just a hair tie, and it was his key.
And I feel like he specifically asked, too, like, is there a key?
Yeah.
She was like, no key, no.
I totally thought that was Sandy. That's my bad.
Yeah. It was a disaster. But now outside, that was Dom and what's her face, Casey, right? And they had a decision to make: shave off 10 minutes for the time of getting out of this cell block. In exchange to what? Double the money?
Yes.
Yeah, they could double the money from 10 to 20 grand.
Yeah. So we're just reviewing each episode. This is not how this is supposed to go. We're gonna be here all night. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else with Samara, right? We had nothing else with Samara.
Yeah.
Right. We're satisfied with her.
Yeah,
Moving on.
I'm good on her.
Oh, well, you know what? Ironically, now we're up to Dom anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, Dom.
Yeah. He's from Toronto, an international star. He's 29. He operates heavy machinery. He spontaneously competed in his first Spartan race and placed in the top 20.
Sure.
He also was taking dance classes in high school, so he could be surrounded by girls.
Uh-oh.
Oh my! What a bad boy! Troublemaker. Now,
bad boy.
highlights for Dom. Dom had a rather emotional outburst at one of Joy's antics. And I thought this was of note because it felt very manufactured, this one.
There are a number of things on the show that it's like, that wasn't an organic conversation,
Right.
but I let it slide because I like it.
Right? I let it slide because I still at least like the gameplay, even if I
Right.
don't like some of the staging. Right.
Right.
Yeah. But so yeah, Dom was very, very upset because Joy was faced. Now, I think, was it everyone that was faced with this decision? How did this work now?
Was this the dossier?
No, this was the one
No.
with wagering the team's money to receive to get an exemption.
Yeah, but because of the dossiers, right? Or am I
Oh, was
jumping
that-
ahead?
This was I think that was ahead. I think that was further down the line. This was just like, this was the very first thing. Like the pot was at like 28,500, and then Joy like wagered 25,000.
Yes, but it was how this worked was they had the dossiers. Some people read it, some people didn't. The people who didn't read it got to wager who did read
Oh, is that what that
read
was?
it for the exemption. So there were 2 people that read it. So because it said whatever it was, integrity will be rewarded. So if you were one of the people that did not open it, you got to wager however much money on a bet of who
Oh,
did read it,
those
of
2
who
separate
you
things.
think did read it.
Okay. All right. Well, there it is. So Joy wagered $25,000 of the team pot.
Yeah,
Um,
that Will
and
that Will read them. Not Will. I always do this. That Greg read them.
Greg, he's in his
I keep calling him Will. I don't know why.
He looks like he could be. We'll get to him. Yeah, so Dom is very, very upset that Joy basically zeroed out the team here just to get this exemption.
It was so funny too. 'Cause I think it was Dom was like, please tell me that you bet me, please, because if she wagered all that money and then got the wrong answer, none of the money would go and nobody would get the exemption. He was like, I really hope that you bet it on me. Like, please tell me that you guessed that I would read them, please.
Yeah, just I don't know the way that he acted around all that. Like it was very, very important for him that other people knew he wasn't the mole. Which, why? Like,
Yeah,
it works if they do.
I also did. Now, I enjoyed Dom, but it was very funny to me watching like how emotional his exit was because I was like, y'all couldn't have known this man for like we've only known him for like 3 episodes. I don't know why you are crying like your best friend is now out of the competition.
Right, because I also don't get the impression they're not like living together, right? I feel like are they probably like in hotels or something? Like
I don't really know. It's hard to tell.
Right, because it's like how close can you really be? Like it's not like you're in like a Big Brother house or something, and like 3 episodes.
People were
could
like
be
weeping, and I was like, you don't know this man that well.
Well, I feel like it probably depends on the situation too, because as we get further down the line, we've seen situations where someone was offered the chance to sleep in a nicer setup while everyone else had to sleep in a warehouse, like chained to each other. So like I don't know. I feel like their living situation probably changes frequently.
Right. But his elimination was also interesting, because he had an opportunity to come back, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
In this challenge here.
This
was there was some discourse around this. Now, how exactly did this work? He had a list of cities. He was locked in a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the only way he'd get out of the car is if he could guess the name of the state that was on the bumper sticker on the back bumper of the car he was locked in.
No, I think it was
cities. There were places, yeah.
No, it was a city, not state. Oh, okay, fine.
He had a list of cities, and based on questions that he was going to ask the other people that were still in the game, he would eliminate cities until he narrowed it down to the correct one.
Well, yeah, I just didn't get that far yet. I had to guess it, and I was going to say bye, but then we got
no, but I don't know if it had anything to do with was he trying to guess the bumper sticker, or was that just his last like
the bumper sticker was the answer.
It was I thought that was his last thing that he had to cross off of like, okay, well, this is not the answer either.
No. Oh no, the answer was the bumper sticker. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, good. I'm glad that other people mess some things up. So it saves me, I'm the one messing up a lot here. So yeah,
not messing up anything.
So he was calling on the inside on the walkie-talkie and basically saying, "Hey, I get to come back and I'm going to add some money to the team pot." Right? I think it was like 10,000 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Doesn't really matter. But wanted to come back into the game. Just tell me, where you came from. And it was Sandy who said, "Now stop it. Stop it now. Let's not say anything. Let's not bring him back. Let's not help him. Even though he's adding to the pot, we don't want to let him back in because whoever he was now answering the mole quiz answers about, clearly he knows that person is not the mole. So now he knows more than we do. So that makes him a threat."
Okay, but also, if he comes back, that is now one person that you all know the mole is not.
Is not. Right. That's huge.
And not only that, you know that he's not the mole, and you know that he also knows who is not the mole. So you can work together with him to draw information from him to also figure out who the mole is not.
And you also then know that he has absolutely no read on what's going on.
Correct.
So, how much of a threat is he?
Do you
I
think?
thought it
Do you
was
think?
ridiculous to not bring him back.
Yeah.
Do you think that any of them would have been suspicious that, like, all right, you're supposed to be eliminated. Why are they bringing you back? Was this whole thing like a decoy to throw us off, thinking, oh, so Dom's not the mole? But because it's not like they've tried to bring anyone else back now. Like I would have even thought that, like, since Dom didn't get the chance to come back, maybe they would do this twist again with somebody else or something, but they didn't. But it just made it like it makes it look like this was a one-time thing where it's like if only one person is going to be given this opportunity to come back, that could be a reason to suspect them of being the mole. Because it's like, why would they bring this person back?
But then they wouldn't leave it up to chance as to whether or not we maybe or maybe not, if they really needed this person to come back in because they were the mole.
I think that this was production's way of being like, for lack of a better term, our fun DRs are gone. We have to find a way to get this guy back in because he's funny and we think that he's going to give us good content. We can't let him go. So, like, let's try to get them to vote him back in, And
they didn't go for it. They're like, well.
He was close, though. He narrowed it down to Seattle and Melbourne or something like that. And he just picked the wrong one. He had a 50-50 shot, though.
And that was that. So that was Sandy's doing.
I also think, like, it was so ridiculous. I had not heard a peep out of Sandy for like 3 or 4 episodes. And all of a sudden here she is like, I say this will not happen, therefore it shall not happen. And it's like, who are you? I've never seen you before. Why are you yelling at me? What's going on?
And the way she was like, people were like looking at her like, you sure? Like, we're really not going to do this? And she was like, no, we're not doing it. And she would just like take another sip of her beer. I was like, man, this girl is cold.
And like, here's the thing too, is like, sure, she didn't give you an answer. Everybody else, why couldn't they be like, just skip hers and let everybody else give our answer? They left it up to a vote to make it fair. I don't care about being fair. I don't know any of these people. I don't trust any of these people. I'd be like, all right, fine. We're skipping Sandy and we're doing all the other questions. And then you narrow it down that way. And now you have a 50-50 shot at what it's going to be,
Right.
I don't know. They stopped at Sandy and they were like, all right, well, I guess it's done.
Oh, they could just say, you know what? Well, I'm going to answer the question. And like, if you guys want to also, then fine. But I'll answer.
Right.
And if it helps them, it helps them. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Hey.
That's what I was surprised that not like 1 or 2 other people, just threw an answer out.
And that's
I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah, because it's like also like, who cares what Sandy says? Like, it's not like it matters if you go against what she said. It doesn't matter if she's angry with you. It doesn't matter now. Like, you do whatever the hell you want to do.
Who's to say that if Sandy answered the question that she would have given him the correct answer anyway? For all you know, she's giving him the wrong answer.
Right.
What would have been funny, actually, is if she gave an answer and she said Seattle, and that made him cross it off the list. You know what I mean?
Imagine that'd be hysterical. You just happen to choose that. Choose that city.
Right.
Well, these hijinks is what probably she didn't know what's going on. She left next.
Mm-hmm.
She's 26 years.
Maybe she should have kept Dom around.
Yeah. Maybe he would have helped her. Maybe he would have helped her. Well, she's from Fort Worth, Texas. She's got a black belt in Taekwondo, and she's trained for 12 years. She's also got a fear of open water and aquariums. All right. I don't have anything else on Sandy, actually. That's really it.
Yeah. Bye, Sandy.
However,
yes.
Around when she went out, so it's a little bit. She went out a little bit after, but I do really want to talk about this cash team during this other assignment with the counting of the cash, because no, I don't want to talk about this. That's for later. We'll get there. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. Because I'm the one going in episode order, and I should not be.
Right.
I know. I keep doing it. So that's Sandy. All right. So Pranav sadly went next.
I really liked Pranav.
I really liked Pranav. He's 29. From Boston, Massachusetts. He is a law firm associate, majored in biomedical engineering, and is now in law school. All right, so he's very, very smart.
Mm-hmm.
He also loves video games and all kinds of strategy games. The question here is what went wrong. You know, do you think that Avery sent him down the wrong path? You know, because I think Casey even made a comment of like, you know, what happened there, because they knew that him and Avery were playing the game closely together. And, you know, Avery has already basically stated she enjoys the misdirection of this game.
Mhm.
Do you think it's possible she intentionally like
I mean,
misdirected him?
we have already seen Avery collect in this episode, collecting information and keeping it from other people. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying that that necessarily tells us who the mole is, but it does stand to say that, like, if she's keeping that from people, what else might she be keeping from people? So I do definitely think that they were working together to a point, but when push came to shove, she's not going to tell him everything.
Yeah,
Right.
specifically with like Jacob, it seemed to me
Mhm.
she was keeping a lot of information that she had about Jacob, you know, like, and not sharing it with Pranav. So
Hmm. I'm just surprised he went out this early if he was going to go out at all.
He
I'm
seemed to
yeah,
have really good reads from my perspective, so it
yeah,
was surprising to me too.
yeah. Mm. Well, bye, Pranav. We liked you. We
yeah,
liked you.
yeah. I like Pranav a lot.
One other thing on Pranav. One other thing on Pranav. We saw some cross pollination, if you will. Yeah,
I
the
do
one,
not know what that means.
the one and only. Okay, Miss Hannah Chada is watching The Mole, and
Uh-huh.
she loves it.
Oh,
And she says that she would love to see Pranav and some others, we'll get to them later, would love to see Pranav play Big Brother. To which he responded, he would love to. He says he
I'm
believes
gonna
there's
be
a
so
waiting period.
honest. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be so honest. I don't know what it is about this cast. I feel like there's not a single person here that I wouldn't want to see somewhere else.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed watching this cast so much. I want to see them compete on freaking everything.
Yeah. Um,
I love
there's
the
some
way this whole.
movement for a couple of them.
I love the way this whole show is like shot too. Like it just looks great. You know what I mean? Like it just everything looks good. Like the where they choose to film always looks great, but like just the way like the camera work is done, I feel like it's not shot the way like, you know, Big Brother is done, obviously, because like it's the cameras in the house and everything, and but even like the challenge and stuff, like this is shot very differently. You know, the Mole. So and I really like how they do everything.
It's a great show. It's a really great find.
Mhm.
Yeah. Happy we're doing this. Happy we're doing this. Thank you. Thank you, Netflix. You
Thank you,
finally got one. You finally got one right. You finally got one right. Because you know I'm not usually too hot on the Netflix. Okay, not too hot. If T-Mobile wasn't paying for it, I wouldn't be.
Ooh.
But now I'm in. Now I'm in because actually I've also been watching The Lincoln Lawyer. That's been some fun.
I do not know what that is.
It's a David E. Kelly show. Nev Campbell, our scream queen, is in it. That's for another time. That's not what we're here for. Next out was Casey.
Mhm.
She's 39 from Chico, California. She's a COVID ICU nurse. She has hitchhiked across southern Japan. And she's also been to Burning Man 3 times. I don't know what that is. I'm probably going to get canceled. And helped build camps and art cars. All right.
You're
Well,
not gonna
thank
get
you,
canceled.
Miss Casey.
She had a weird ending.
She had a weird ending. There was something about her though. She was a little moly to me.
yeah.
She was one that I was kind of in and out of suspecting.
Yeah, she was on the outskirts of my radar, you know.
The way they were climbing like those mountains, and she like would just be like sitting there talking to somebody,
Yes, and just like
like
looking at the
laughing.
sights.
Look at the beautiful view. It's like you are on the clock, ma'am.
Yeah, it's like you have like 2 minutes left. You have to get across this rope. Like, hurry! What are you doing?
And it was very suspicious how many times that she tried to quit on that challenge, because it's like, you have money in your backpack? Like, I don't know. I'm
Right.
like, just the amount of times that she was like, no, it's fine, I'll sit it out. No, I won't do it. No, it's fine. It's like, all right, so why though? What do you have? Because you haven't
Yeah.
tried to quit on any other competition.
Right, but that's the other thing too, is that this competition was rough. Okay, this
It
was
was.
not like this. I mean, this going over on little tight ropes across mountains and stuff. Like, I'd be trying to quit too. But like, yo, I'm done. I don't have to do this, y'all. And they're like, no, we think you might be the mole. You keep going. I'd be like, yo, stop it. Stop playing. I don't care. Switch bags with me. I don't care. I don't want to do this. Like this has nothing to do with this game. I don't want to play this.
Mhm.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You get forced into doing these awful things. You can't even quit.
Yeah.
That's wild. At least in the challenge, you can just say, I'm not doing this, and you just take a penalty. And this, everyone's like, no, you can be the mole. Nope, sorry. Nope, sorry.
Wow.
But even still, like in that situation, like you could be the mole. Okay, fine. And if you vote me the mole and I'm not, that's your problem. That doesn't affect me at all.
Right, but if you keep saying I'm the mole and keep making me doing these scary things, soaring over these mountains, I'm pretty pissed.
soaring over these mountains.
I'd be pretty pissed, But yeah, so wasn't that Cassie's exit? That was her last thing, right?
I believe so. I think so.
Yeah.
She's probably like, they forced me to go over these mountains. And now I'm out anyway.
And then I lost.
It sucks. Poor thing. Next person out was so far really is the last person out. Greg. Age 32 from Seattle. He survived a huge storm at sea. He's also certified in Zumba, yoga, and
Reiki.
Excellent. Excellent.
I felt the pause. I said he's just not gonna go further.
I was really trying to decide, and I was like, "Can somebody just help me?" and then you stepped in, so thank you. Now, see, Greg, I had moments of Molly with him as well.
Yeah.
Greg was one of the ones like I was talking about earlier, where it's like you're suspicious, but I feel like you're too obvious because of the way you're being edited. So I feel like you can't be the mole, but do they want me to think that it's too obvious? Like I kept going back and forth with him where I was like, I feel like it can't be you, but it might be you.
Yeah. I had some suspicions of him, but I liked Greg.
I like Greg too. I did. Right? I liked him.
He was an interesting.
He was a
character.
great character. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was fun.
Yeah. I was sad to see him go.
Like it was almost giving like a villain arc, but he wasn't actually doing anything wrong. Like it was just like his attitude
his editing
was like making him the
villainy.
Villain, but he wasn't doing anything wrong,
Right. I loved his moment when he had the whole dossier bribe thing. And he sat down at the desk and was given the option to look at the dossiers. And he was like, no, I'm not going to look. And then he was like, actually, yeah, I'm going to look. The way it was shot.
What was crazy about that, like, they obviously, like, revealed that he had gone through them because Joy had wagered on it. He wasn't the only one who looked at the dossiers. Right. He's just the only one that everyone knows looked at the dossiers.
I was just going to say, Avery got away scot-free. Because
like, that's wild.
And just because Avery's name wasn't the one that Joy wrote down in her bet, Greg is the only one that took the blame for that.
It got exposed, yeah.
He also had a fun moment in that one challenge where they had to find the password to put into the computer, and they had the people on the phone.
Yes,
and they say, "Oh, where were you?" And and Greg was very good. We're like, well, I am sitting in here in this room. He's like, I'm not
right. He's like, I'm not lying to anybody. I'm telling them what I'm doing. I'm just not saying what everybody else is also doing. It's like, yes, I love this.
Yes. I love the moment where he sent, I think it was Cassie.
Yeah.
Like, go get everybody so that they could talk on the phone, but then she just never came back.
But it's also like the way that he was going about it too. He was like, oh, you want to talk to everybody else in the room? Yeah, sure. Just 1 second while trying to get her to like go and look for everybody.
And she was like, I'm just going to go in this room and disappear. And then all of a sudden the other team figured out. They're like, it's just Greg. There's no one else there.
Yeah, that was a really fun moment.
I do also want to say this was like my first impression of the show, and with Greg it's stronger than the others, but like I feel like everybody on this show looks just enough like somebody else that it's distracting to me, where I'm like, who do you remind me of? Like I can't tell if they all look like an actor or a person I know, or like everybody that I look at on this show I'm like, you look like someone. And I feel like I've seen all of them before, and it's really frustrating that I can't figure out why.
I agree. He looks like another actor though.
I can't place it.
At least, especially in this picture. He looks like the guy from New Girl.
Oh, Max Greenfeld?
No,
Schmidt?
the guy who played Nick.
Oh.
At least in the small version that I have on my screen. He's not blown up on my screen. In this particular
Interesting.
photo, smushed down. All right. So before people start saying, get the hell
I
out of
don't know,
here.
man. I can't place it. there's something about him
Now I'm
is
putting it on
familiar
the
and I don't
screen.
know why.
Just
And
putting it on
I
the
feel that way about
screen.
everybody. Even Alex, the host. I'm like, I've seen you somewhere. You look like someone.
Yeah.
I know I haven't seen you before, but I've seen your face before.
I like
Speaking
her
of,
too.
what do you think of her?
I like her.
Before we
I
get
really
to
like
who's
her.
left. Yeah, you like her.
I
think
like that
she's great.
she's like self-aware. And like she'll like say something and she'll be like, that was good, right? Like I'm having fun. Like she's just very like silly about it. Like I enjoy her a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
Jake
Matt,
Johnson, that's the
for
one.
validating me. Thank you.
I really enjoy that when they have these like luxurious dinners before they do these quizzes. Like the cast will be there like mingling and drinking, but then Alex will walk in like looking awesome and like with like a martini glass in her hand, like walking in like somebody's about to go home. Let's do this. You know, like she's just like, yeah, she's got like a great presence. I really like her as the host.
She looks like she enjoys it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which like, I feel like
her.
for a competition like this, how could you not? I would be having so much fun, like being the person who knows all the answers. I
Right.
will say though, and I know this is the editing, it's not so much her. There are moments where I'm like, why did you like specifically with the money one? Like she was like, and you counted in the amount of. And it's like, just tell me how much they counted. Like, why are we doing this?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
You know what I will also say? There are a lot of moments like with the editing of this that when they're explaining the rules of a competition, it is not actually her speaking to them. There's a lot of shots just moving. Yeah, and it's like, you know, it's just like a little weird to me. Like, obviously we see that in this challenge too, but like it's just so obvious in this that I find it
it's so funny
distracting.
too, where like again, like the people who aren't the mole are so dumb. And like there are moments where like she'll be giving a clue, but her clue is like the answer is literally in the periodic table that is on the wall behind you. Please open the table, you stupid idiots. Like she's like literally giving them like exactly what the answer is. Like, hi, no one's figuring this out. So this is the literal answer to this puzzle.
It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. Okay. So you want to go through who's left in alphabetical order?
It's just so wild. Yeah, that sounds good. It's just so wild because somebody else is gone. We just don't know who it is.
I know. The cliffhanger was driving me nuts, especially because the two people that are left are two of my suspects, and I'm like, well,
right. Oh my, what, like, oh my, this really was perfect. It's like, what a cliffhanger to have to, you know, to make everybody have to wait now, because
neither of them are my main suspect, but they are my second and third choice, and I'm like, ah.
Who is it left on now? Who is it left on?
Who's
Joy
the two that are left?
Joy and Jacob, right? Yeah.
It's down to them. So whoever's screen turns red goes home. I think Jacob was the one that was about to tap his phone.
I think so.
I think I could be wrong. Maybe.
No, that sounds right.
Well, in alphabetical order,
let's do it.
We're starting with Lady Avery. She's 26 and she's from Phoenix. She's a professional gamer. All right. In Colorado, Avery did a 600-foot solo climb on the Flatiron Mountains. And she is also a singer-songwriter and has released her own music. Right,
obsessed with Avery. I'm obsessed with Avery. I love her so much.
I love Avery. Love
Me
Avery.
Too. Me too.
Listen. I don't know. Is she moling us too? Like, I didn't.
Do you think it's her?
I'm not putting it past her. She's not my number one choice, but I could see her being able to manipulate these DRs well enough because she's just having fun with us because like the gamer in her. I think it's possible that we're being molded.
do not think she's the mole, but I would not be upset if she was. Like, I would
No.
love it if she was. I do genuinely think that she's just trying to like be suspicious to throw other people off to get herself to the end. I think she could win. I don't think she's the mole though.
You know, so
I think I agree with that.
Here's a funny thought. So I was thinking to myself, because like we've been hearing Will specifically say this over and over again, like, oh, Avery keeps doing like mole-like things to draw suspicion, but like I don't really think she's the mole. And I'm like, what like a perfect position to be in if you are the mole. Like if somebody thinks that you're purposely acting suspicious, like it's such a pass for you to now do suspicious things like as the mole, and it's like could she be playing everybody that to that level that like I could totally see her.
I mean, she is a gamer.
Absolutely,
she could be that. Calculated about it.
It makes me want her to be the mole, honestly.
Oh, like I said, I don't think she is, but I'd love it if she was.
Yeah, right. I'm happy with that either way it goes.
Yeah.
My first standout moment with her was when she dropped that oxygen tank on the shore. And that was just such a bold thing to do because it was like you just dropped it, like you didn't even tell anyone, it didn't even look like you were trying to say like, listen, I can't go any further.
Right,
Please,
she didn't make it look like an accident.
It?
Like, oh no, I don't know what happened to it. She fully was like, this is heavy. Goodbye.
Yeah,
just
and they're
put
like,
it on
where's
the
the other tank? Oh yeah, I dropped it. I just left it over there. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. Yeah, whatever. It's like what? Like, you didn't tell anyone. Like I just thought that was really bold and like pretty wild.
Yeah.
I loved it though.
And it was her that picked up on Jacob miscounting the money during the cash challenge during the bank
and then didn't tell anybody about it.
Didn't tell anyone about it. Now, what do you think of that? Mole-like or just honestly rushing and making errors? Could it be
on Jacob's part, you mean?
On Jacob's part, yeah.
So Jacob is my number 2 on who I think the mole is.
And I think it's okay to have crossover, right? Because he is next. So it could be a good segue. He is from Ohio.
I'll have you know.
And he's a firefighter paramedic lieutenant. Wow, that's a lot of things. He used to be a cage fighter. Whoa. But now practices Tai Chi and ballroom dancing. I mean,
what a wide array of
all
things.
Over the place. Very eclectic. He grew up working on a goat farm and still harvests crops to this day. Wow.
Very active.
He is something else.
That is a wild resume.
Right. Next bullet point or comma, mole.
Is this your choice?
I don't know.
Do you have a choice before I keep asking you?
I do have a choice.
Okay.
I think he's my number 2 though.
He's definitely my number 2.
He's my number 2. But yeah, so Jacob and what were we saying before that? Oh damn.
The money, miscounting the money.
Oh, miscounting the money. Isn't it possible that maybe we could have just miscounted?
No, it definitely could be a mistake, but it also like just the fact that it was off by like 1 or 2. Like that's so easy to just like throw one in there and be like, oops,
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's also so easy to just really be
absolutely.
Oops.
Especially since, we did see like there was an issue with Sandy and Pranav with the conversions of like how much does this note say versus how, and they were off by like what, $700 or something. They were off by a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that was the thing that sabotaged them, but it was a little sus,
What that by the way, I just have to say, is such a difficult position for like Pranav to have to be in, because he's the one that's alone. That's already like people are saying, oh, if the mole is in this position. Sandy totally told him that those bills said that they were each worth 500,000.
No. Yeah, right. She said 500,000 before. Yeah.
Sandy, she totally said 500,000, and that's what. And he did the calculation the first time that way. And then when he's like, "Wait, are you sure about that?" Like, and she's like, "Wait, 500,000? No, I said 50,000." And it's like, "No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But I'm the one that's alone here. That's like now I'm the one that's under suspicion because I'm
and he's the only one looking at the conversion. So he's the only one that actually knows the amount. So no one can really check him. So there's no telling if he is being honest or not.
Right, but the thing about it is that even if Yeah, but like it's a good position to be
But
in.
it's you're right. You're right. It's true. You're right.
Yeah, because like
You're right.
if that's what it does, and it makes people think that now you are not to be trusted,
Right.
they're gonna start
Throwing them
answering the
off.
quiz for you. Yeah, like I keep
Very true.
watching it thinking that
Lots
this is
of
not
fun.
a good position to be in, but you have to keep switching, like
Yeah.
your point of view here. It's actually great to be alone in those scenarios.
It's interesting. Very interesting, you know.
You should just purposely bungle it up every time you're alone.
Or be like Avery and screw it up whether your people are watching or not.
Right. It's like I think that's I don't know. Like
Yo,
it's
how
pretty
did
good to me.
how did she not see that phone number on the pizza box?
My God, we didn't even talk about that. That was insane.
Right? That was a moment that I was like,
Yeah. So what they're referring to is now when she was now tied up in this or chained up in this pigeon coop.
Birdcage, yeah.
Yes, and
I don't think she was tied or chained up. I think
she was just locked in there.
No, she was just locked in there.
Chained up in a chicken coop.
No, yeah, I guess she wasn't that restricted. And there were 2 locks on the cage, and one red, one blue, and you had Joy and Cassie on one side, trying to had to unlock their lock, and then it was Jacob and
Will.
and Will on the other side. None of this matters except that they were in this pizzeria. And they had these little clues and stuff. It's very exhaustive.
It's okay. We're talking about 10 episodes of television tonight.
And like I think if memory serves, this is the most recent one, which has all of the people who are still in it. So if there's any episode to be exhaustive on, this is the one.
Yeah, I know. It's just God. It's been a long night now. So there was a clue in there, and they did. They have to now try and find out how they can get to Avery in this pigeon coop. And they called her, as she's locked up in there, and they asked her, is there a pizza box in there? And she said, yes, there is one in here. It would match the same pizzeria. And Jacob asked Avery if there was a phone number on the box. She glanced down and she just said no, because she didn't see a phone number on the top, but she didn't even bother to look at the side of the box where there was a number. Even the way she hung up was strange.
Because I gotta call the girls.
Yeah, like he's like, oh, really? There's no number on the box. I gotta go. Gotta call the girls. Click, and it's like, what was that? Like that was so strange, and just left them just sitting in the pizzeria, like with now nothing to do.
Yeah, you couldn't just tilt the box upward slightly.
Right. And it looked again. I don't know how the editing worked out, but it looked like half an hour went by, and then she picked up the box and was like, "Oh God, a phone number."
Yeah, I don't know. But I don't think maybe it was I'm sure it wasn't a half hour. I hope it wasn't that long. I could also see if you're excited.
It looked like
and
it was
nervous.
forever, but I don't know. It could have been like 2 minutes.
I don't know. Could the excitement of it just like, I don't know, make you be a little jarred? Like, no, I don't see it there. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have time for this. I gotta call them, because you feel like you have to keep bouncing back and forth. Like, I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
Well, didn't they make? I feel like didn't they make a mention actually of how long they were in the pizzeria? I forget which one of them said it, but I feel like once they got to the pigeon coop, and they were all standing outside, like Will and Jacob were there, and Jacob made I forget exactly what amount of time he said, but I feel like he said something. Oh yeah, like we were waiting for a half an hour in the pizzeria for an order to be placed for Jimmy.
Yes.
I can't remember. I could be exaggerating,
it could be,
but I don't know why that is in my brain.
When you watch these in the blur, all those little details are hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Up next is my mole pick. This is who I very mole-ish. Joy. We kind of talked about her a little bit before. Miss Joy.
Joy's my number 3. Joy's my number 3.
Yeah, right now she's my number 1.
She's one that to me feels too obvious. But she's in a lot of shady shit. I don't know.
She's been stirring up a lot of drama the last couple of eliminations too at the table, like
I
publicly
love
calling
Joy.
people out.
Yes, it's delicious. I love Joy.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like some of her drama is a little manufactured, which then kind of makes me now
Oh,
think
some of it definitely, specifically like the detonator of like, I'm greedy, Will. You know I gotta do. It's like people don't just talk like that. Like I know that this is not like
no. And you're a shithole mole. It's like, where did all this come from? You were
I
just
love shithole mole.
no. I mean, listen,
I
it's
love
fun to
shithole
say,
mole.
but you knew what you were doing there. You were giving yourself a tagline. Now, I did rewind a moment with her many, many times. When during Kazi's little thing with now grabbing the exemption after
Yep.
that shriek she let out was like the funniest thing. I will not try to reenact it, but like, I mean, they even cut it in like 2 or 3 times because it was just so good. But yeah, I mean, we'll get to that really in a minute, but I don't know. Joy just does a lot of things bad, and she just makes a lot of really bad decisions.
Right. I'm like, I can't tell if you're just terrible at every game we've been playing or if you're purposely being bad at it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
She started off with the terrible navigating. And
multiple
then,
times terrible navigating.
Yeah, and multiple times,
because she also was part of the navigation crew when they were. That was also part. Was that was the money train thing, right?
Yeah.
They had. Oh, maybe it wasn't money. But it was just a train.
No, yeah. No, that was something with money.
It was okay. I just remember they had to get things along the way, and Jacob was the driver, and she misdirected him. Then
that's right.
I don't know why they keep giving her maps.
Yeah.
And she also, like, again, going back to the thing with the detonator, she had such a good poker face. She was eating all of those disgusting, like, terrible whatever things, and was just so like, I'm fine. Like, completely, like, her face didn't even waver for a second. No one would have suspected her at all.
No. Now, there's some people on online are calling for her to play Big Brother, which I would love to see.
Oh, I would love it.
Wow.
Yeah. And Chada mentioned her as well. She's part of that tweet.
She's another one that, like, I don't want to necessarily say she's the villain, but like she like is just so good at like being sneaky. I love her. I love her.
This is really fun. That's Joy. Next up we have Cassie. All right, she's 27. She's from New York. She's a software developer. She also speaks Mandarin, and she's got, count them, 2, 3, 4. She's got 5 older siblings. Yep.
Wow.
This is Cassie.
She is also the mole.
Gina's choice for mole. Really? Okay, and why is that?
So there have been multiple moments, both outwardly and that haven't really gotten a lot of screen time, where she's screwed things up. Notably, when they were in the plane looking for the dinghy, and Avery was very much like, nope, don't see it. And she was going out of her way to like not have them see it, because that was when she started sabotaging on purpose. The person in the seat behind her, who was also looking out the same window and didn't see it or say anything either, was Cassie. Like, she was right there also looking and was misdirecting them too, but they were focusing on Avery because that's what the episode was about. But Cassie didn't say anything either. She also had that, like, in the money heist kind of competition where she had like the names of the lock boxes, screwed that up, which I'm gonna be so honest. I'm hit or miss on that one myself, because it's like,
I don't know that I would have gotten that.
I think if I was looking for lock boxes and I saw that a name was Lock, I might have put that together, but I wouldn't have known it was Goldilocks because of gold.
Definitely
like there were things like that I'm like, that's
that
tough.
one not.
I don't know that I would have gotten there.
Yeah, that one might have thrown me off. But Midas, if I saw Midas right away, I would.
Right.
That's one that I feel like you should know.
The only thing that would have drawn me to that name would be that the last name was Locks and they were looking to unlock something, but I would not have equated that to any kind of gold anything.
I don't know who King Midas is.
Wow.
Oh,
so that would have done like, nothing. They would have
touch things and turn them to gold. No,
everything you touch turned to gold.
I don't know him. I'm telling you, I really would have messed this one up. I also would not have known that El Dorado. They were like, oh, if you would have said El Dorado, I definitely would have tried that one.
That one maybe would have made me look sideways, but I don't know if I would have.
I might have
gotten
tried
there.
it just because it sounded familiar, but not because I thought it had anything to do with anything.
That one was a hard one, but I don't know.
I don't know any of this stuff.
I think Cassie is really good at flying under the radar when she's messing stuff up.
I mean, maybe. I was just thinking that she's like an idiot. And I just think she's just not doing things well. But then even when you think about the last thing that they had to do with the pigeons, and Joy was really adamant about choosing that one pigeon that was supposed to now lead
the correct
to
one.
Avery. The correct one, mind you.
Right.
And Cassie was like really dead set on it being the other pigeon. You know, that's pretty mole-like. There it is, Liz, the pigeons. Yep.
No, right from the get, I was tuned into her because they didn't talk about her in the plane. And I was like, wait, she also was doing it. And then I've had a close eye on her ever since. And there's a number of moments where she's screwing stuff up, but they're not really talking about it. And no one's really noticing.
Yeah, I'm definitely suspicious of her.
And then, of course, the moment where she took the exemption.
Right. That was when they were now all chained together in a cold, empty warehouse overnight. And they had locks on their ankles. And they had a decision. There was this little box that was going to open that had a key that would unlock the lock on the chain, and a little exemption card. Every 10 minutes the box would open for
Something
1
like
minute.
that, yeah.
Yeah, and you had only one person could take a key at a time. They had to choose between the card, the exemption card, or the key. If they choose the exemption card, the challenge is over. They go sleep in a hotel, and they have to sleep in the cold warehouse overnight. They trusted Cassie enough to go first. Cassie unlocked herself and took the exemption, to which Joy shrieked.
Yeah. This was the memorable moment for sure.
Yeah.
A very memorable moment. And she just walked out.
It was what? Didn't say anything. Didn't even look back.
Said nothing. And that was the moment that I realized this game is so interesting in the fact that you don't have to like me.
Right.
It literally
You're not voting me out. It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Screw it.
Screwed up. Cassie
whatever.
screwed up the train thing too.
She what?
She screwed up the train thing when they were trying to get like the bags
She
on
dropped-
the hook or whatever.
she dropped
screwed
one,
that
right?
up. She dropped
She
them,
did
yeah.
screw that up, but in all fairness, like I feel like that was a pretty hard thing to do. Like that looked very hard. You know, putting that little claw just right outside the thing. You have one shot of grabbing a hanging bag. I mean,
And she could have just messed up, sure. But there are
Right, she
just like
could've.
when I look at the like all of the things that she has screwed up, I'm like, all right, either you're really terrible at everything or you're the mole.
yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
I'm
very
agreeing with
suspicious
you
of Cassie.
because I have to say, Joy, she's been my number one pick all along. With the way she's been misdirecting at these dinners, makes me think she thinks she's smart enough to misdirect enough to get people eliminated, which means it looks like she's now starting to play to win, or at least make attempts in that direction. So it makes me think maybe a little less that she's the mole. Which sure, it certainly does raise some suspicion on Cassie. Have you said, John, who your mole pick is? Who do you think the mole is?
I'm just.
Said.
What was that?
Have you told us who the mole is? Who do you think the mole pick is? No, don't make me do it again. I can't believe I did it again. I mean, is it Will? He's next. He's from Henderson.
I love Will. I love
I
Will.
love Will too. Yeah.
Lifestyle brand manager. All right. He skydived 3 times in one day. Woof.
Oh my God, not me.
I guess it's surprising, but it's also like, are we reaching for facts here? After his friend broke his leg, he carried him on his back down a mountain while snowboarding. All right. Well,
I like Will a lot.
I love Will.
I don't
I
think he-
also think
yeah.
I think that Will is for sure not the mole. He's the only one that like the entire show I've been like, it's not Will.
yeah,
I honestly,
think so.
if you're asking who I think it is, I lately have been thinking Avery. That's who I think I'm gonna go with.
Really. Really?
No.
You think she's been moling us?
Well, you know what? Like, just the fact that she is a gamer, I could see her being the person that, like, would be good at being like the mole. I don't know.
All right. Do we have anything? I agree with that. Look, I suspect everyone but Will.
I think if it ends up being Will, I'm annoyed and I don't like the show anymore. Like, I think it's like so impossible for Will to be the mole.
Yeah, I don't see it being Will. I would be a little disappointed then in the editing for that. That would be that's not good.
Because then if it is Will, what's happening is they're keeping so much mole-like behavior from us to then hit us at the end and be like, but here's all the things that Will did. And I don't like that.
Right, that's too much. That's too
Right.
much. No, I think at this point it really could be anyone. There's so many different ways to look at it.
Uh-huh.
Was there anything memorable from Will, by the way? Anything that really like stood out?
I mean, he, like, out of everybody else, Will is so determined to finish these missions that he literally has put his blood, sweat, and tears into this show. Like, that he was not eligible to compete at one point because he sliced his arm open, he sliced his leg open because he was trying to dive for these cases so hard.
Right.
It was funny,
which is why, like, I can't see him being the mole because he cares so much about finishing these missions. I'm like, there's no way that guy is going to sabotage anything unless he's really trying to make people think that he cares about the missions and then he's sabotaging. But I haven't seen him do. I feel like anything that has been lost has not been in his hand.
Right.
Right. Well, what's funny is that, like, there was at least one mission where that could have been something that people looked at him as like mole-ish behavior, because like for that mountain one, only 3 people could finish and you didn't know who had money and who did. So like, people could have thought that him insisting that he go to the end was a sign that like, oh, why do you want to get to the end so bad? Do you know that you don't have money because you're the mole and you put the money in other people's backpacks or whatever? Like, and like everybody was voting against him. And I think like he made a comment like, oh, this is the dumbest decision I've ever heard. Like, and like, because he was so adamant about like, no, I have to finish. And he kept saying, it was like, so I need to finish so that I can make sure that other people finish the mission. Like it gets done. Like I need to be there to make sure it happens. And they were like, and like, that was like casting suspicion on him, for some people. Cause it's like, are you insisting that you go so that we get less money?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's an interesting.
Did he have money or not? I don't remember.
He did not.
Which further, boosts the point there. Yeah. Well, I guess that's that. That's the mole.
Oh, I'm so excited for the rest of it.
Yeah, 8 episodes of the mole. That was fun.
I'm so excited to say. I just want to know who gets eliminated.
Well, you're gonna have to wait.
Like what? Like it's a great cliffhanger, but I'm dying. I just need to know if it's Joy or Jacob.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, because it could really go either way, honestly.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, no. All right. We don't know when we're gonna wrap this up.
I mean, it ends on Friday, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very absentee next week, actually. Yeah.
Absentee.
Wow.
Yeah, we have to talk about that offline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out when we come back for the mole. I really don't want to miss the finale. No. So yeah. Because that Halloween cabaret is taking up some time. I did not factor in rehearsals to when I said yes to this. Also because I was asked to host and then I was changed to singing. So I was not really supposed to be rehearsing like this. So I got duped. Anyway, we'll figure it out. Anything else for Mole Monday? We're good?
No.
I don't think so.
I do have one more thing to say. Manwan.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, just because earlier, like way in the beginning of this,
I saw
Gina
you
went-
gearing up to say it.
yeah,
I saw-
Gina went, Mo Monday, Mo Monday, Mo Monday, and I was like, she's trying now to get us to phase out Mon Juan by shouting Mo,
it's
and
so
I won't
funny
have it.
because
I'm going to
as
remind
Kyle-
her what night this is. It is Mon Juan
I was
Monday.
dying because as
Wow.
Kyle was doing the intro, I kept seeing you like get close to the mic and then back away and like go to, and I was like, he's trying to get in there.
Yeah,
Wow.
I had to make sure that it happened, and I waited until the exact moment that I needed to. So there it is, Mon Juan.
Wow, is this what goes on at 9:20? And I'm just popping at 9:27. I'm
Oh
missing
my
a whole
God.
night. Well, you can find us on the socials, Strat Chat Pod, or on our website at stratchatpod.com. And it was just Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. Thanks for hanging out. We're out of here. All right, bye.